At some point today, you will probably avoid thinking about death entirely. Most people do. We change the subject. We look away. We use words like passed away and gone because saying the actual word feels uncomfortable. But for most of human history, death was not something people avoided. It was something they lived with, literally. And their relationship with it was so different from ours that it is almost impossible to imagine. Let's start with the bones. Archaeologists have found ancient human settlements where the skulls of dead ancestors were kept inside the home. Not buried, not hidden, kept, displayed, placed in corners and shelves where the family lived their daily life. Some skulls were plastered with clay to recreate the features of the person's face, painted and decorated. The dead were not removed from daily life. They were part of it. Your grandmother's skull sat in the corner of the room, and nobody found this strange. In Jericho, one of the oldest cities ever found, researchers discovered a collection of human skulls that had been carefully plastered and painted, with shells placed in the eye sockets to make them look alive. These were not trophies. They were not warnings. They were kept because the people who made them believed the dead were still present, still part of the family, still watching. Death did not end the relationship. It just changed it. And it wasn't just about keeping the dead close. Ancient humans across almost every culture on Earth shared one belief that modern people have almost entirely lost. They believed death was not an ending. It was a transition, a doorway, something you passed through rather than something that simply stopped you. The details of what was on the other side varied wildly. Some believed in a paradise, some believed in reincarnation, some believed the dead became ancestors who watched over the living. But the core idea was the same almost everywhere. You did not simply stop existing. You went somewhere. This belief changed everything about how they lived. When you genuinely believe death is a transition rather than an ending, it stops being the most terrifying thing imaginable. Ancient hunters went into genuinely dangerous situations every single day, facing animals that could kill them, crossing terrain that could kill them, risking illness that could kill them. And they did it without the paralyzing fear of death that modern people carry. Not because they were reckless, but because death to them was not the worst possible outcome. Being separated from the tribe was worse. Bringing shame to the family was worse. Dying badly, without courage, without meaning, was worse than dying itself. The Stoic philosophers of ancient Rome captured this perfectly. They practiced something called Memento Mori, the daily reminder that you will die. Not as a morbid exercise, as a way of living fully. If you know you will die, you stop wasting time on things that do not matter. Ancient humans did not need a philosophy to tell them this. They already lived it. Death sat in the corner of the room and reminded them every single day. And then something changed. As human societies grew larger and more complex, death became something that happened elsewhere. Hospitals, nursing homes, places you went to die away from everyone else. The bodies disappeared quickly. The rituals shortened. The skulls were definitely not kept in the living room anymore. Death went from being a daily presence to something we only encountered at funerals, briefly, before returning to normal life as fast as possible. We became the first humans in history to live as if death was not coming. And researchers who study happiness and meaning consistently find the same thing. People who think about death regularly, who sit with the fact that their time is limited, report living with more purpose, more gratitude, and less anxiety than people who avoid the subject entirely. The ancient humans who kept their grandmother's skull in the corner of the room were not being morbid. They were being reminded of something true, and it made them live better. This is Facts They Buried. Every week, the things they forgot to teach you. Subscribe. The facts are buried. We dig them up.